Today, this tank right here, the 𝗯𝘂𝘀𝗀𝗀, is going to get some new fish. And it's going to get a little bit of a change too. We're going to take some plants out, move some stuff around, and add some new little fish into this tank. And you're probably going to be a little bit surprised with the fish I'm going to be adding in this tank. Hello everyone, today this tank right here, one of my favorite tanks in the fish room. Well, it's kind of like one of the centerpiece tanks in this fish room, the Crypt jungle, featuring my favorite plants, 𝗯𝘂𝘀𝗀𝗀𝘀, or 𝗯𝘂𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝘀, however you pronounce it. We're adding some new fish into this tank, and the fish that I'll be adding in here is going to be different to what I planned on adding in this tank. Before, some of you may have heard me say that I want to add rainbow fish in this tank, all rainbow fish, and I'm going to do that. I'm still going to add a few different species of rainbow fish into this tank, but I decided to kind of change it up a little bit, maybe add some tetras in here, and maybe they'll breed in this tank. I've seen them breed before in one of my other tanks, and maybe they can breed and reproduce in this tank too. If they do, that will be kind of cool, and they're a pretty hardy type of tetra. So let me show you guys which tetra I'm talking about. So if we come over here, you can see I just recently did a water change on my silver angelfish, the wild Peruvian angelfish. They are kind of skittish right now. The tank is also empty, so these guys don't really like a bare tank with nothing in it, so we gotta set up a better tank for them in the future. But today we are going to be, you can see I've got a few more rainbow fish here, but we're adding that tetra right there, that guy. I've got a few of them in this tank. We're not going to add all, but I'm going to add some of the colorful males. You can see the males have this beautiful bluish purple hue to them, like this guy right here as well. And then the females are this, what color is that? Like yellowish, beigeish color. They don't have that very nice purple, but they're still beautiful. And we're going to add a few females in there as well. Yeah, this is the royal tetra, or the 𝗯𝘂𝘀𝗀𝗀𝘀. I have no idea how to pronounce that, so I'll put it up on the screen right here. But yeah, this is that fish, and it's bred for me before in my IAPLC contest aquarium. If you just give them a lot of plants, they will breed for you. And I think they even bred in this tank. Like if we look really closely, you'll see some small babies swimming around, and let me see if I can find them. We've also got some ember tetras in here, as well as red phantom tetras, like that one right there. The red phantoms are beautiful too. I love their top fin, the yellow and the black. But where are some of these babies? I know because I've seen it, but alright, if I see them, I'll let you know. Alright, here's one of them. I know it's not that tiny anymore, but it's still the smallest compared to all of the others, and it was definitely raised in this tank. So yeah, you can see how small it is compared to this other guy, but yeah, and the red phantom is beautiful. So yeah, these guys are amazing fish. I'm gonna scoop, well, wait, before I add them, should I do a water change on the tank? I haven't done a water change in a month, and I don't need to, but I just want to clean the glass a little bit and maybe do like a 10% water change. Just make the rainbow fish feel happy, and the plants will also love a little bit of clean water, so I think we'll do that. Also guys, take a look at the tank closely. Can you guys see that? Yeah, I'm not sure if you guys can tell, but some of you may be able to tell that there's almost no algae in this tank. A month ago, 2 months ago, before, yeah, many months ago, this tank was just covered in hair algae, and there was so much of it. It was such a pain to remove it all, but somehow I managed to get rid of 90–95%. There's still a little bit in the tank, but most of it is all gone, and I'm pretty amazed at how simple it was to get rid of it. Well, actually, I'm not even sure how I did it, but I'll just tell you what I did to make it disappear. And yeah, but first, let's do some maintenance on this tank, so let's do a time lapse. Okay, so the tank looks a lot cleaner in my opinion. I mean, the water just looks crystal clear. You can see the glass panels are also nice and clean. Take a look from this angle. This is one of my favorite angles to look at. It's like a mirror image, so Yeah, really love these rainbow fish. The plants are awesome. I did do a little bit of plucking of some of the 𝗯𝘂𝗀𝗀𝗀𝘀. You can see this long-leaved plant because that plant just grows like crazy, and you can see how long these leaves get. Right here are some of the trimmings or pluckings, and you can just see over 2 feet long. So yeah. Now I'm going to remove some plants that don't belong in this tank, such as these 𝗯𝘂𝗀𝗀𝗀𝘀. That's kind of hard to see. Yeah, but you can see some 𝗯𝘂𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. I've got 2 different types in this tank. One is pretty rare, and I've also got some 𝗲𝘂𝗾𝗀𝗀𝘀 ferns that I'll be taking out tomorrow, but not today. So for today, they're staying in here, but in the video that I'll be making tomorrow, I'll be removing them out and putting them into another tank. I've got some of these crypts that are still in their pots, but I think for now I'm going to leave them because they are adjusted in they're well conditioned in this tank, and if I remove them, I don't want to risk them melting again. So for now, these crypts are staying in here. There is, however, one crypt that I want to remove, and that is this one right here. You can kind of see in the pot if this fish will get out of the way. But there's this crypt right here. I bought it as 𝗯𝘂𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 I've got another green gecko. You can see the mother stem, or the stem? The mother plant, the, what do you call a crypt? The, not rhizome, but the, yeah, I'll just say the mother plant, or the father plant, is this dark green one right here. And then it's sending out all these other runners. You can see the light green crypts. That's the same plant, it's just younger. So you can see that's the real crypt green gecko. It's light green with a brownish, pinkish color at the bottom of the leaves. And yeah, that's the real crypt green gecko. And I'm not so sure why. I bought another crypt green gecko, which is this one in the pot I just showed you, but I bought it immersed, and once I put it in this tank, you can see the submerged growth doesn't look anything like the crypt green gecko that I have. Maybe it's a different type, or maybe I got scammed or something. I'm not sure, so I'm gonna take that crypt out. I was thinking of just throwing it away, but that'd be kind of a waste and kind of sad since the plant is doing so well. It's actually rooted down, even though it's in the pot. Let me put my hand in here. It's actually rooted down quite well into the substrate. Like, I can't pull it out, and I don't know if you can see any of those roots. You can see some. You can definitely see the root structure there, so I'm not gonna yank it out today, but I'll eventually take that plant out and plant it in another tank that I don't really care about. I know it sounds kind of bad, but I've got the real crypt green gecko here, and I've actually got another crypt green gecko here. This is the plant that comes from ADA, Aqua Design Amano. They also do a tissue culture of crypt green gecko, and you can see these are still little babies, so it's hard to tell, but they look more like the ones that I already have. So yeah, I'm gonna be excited to plant this in. Once we get the 𝗲𝘂𝘀𝗀𝘀𝗀 resplendens out of this tank and into this tank, we're gonna be planting this in here, the Dutch style tank. That's gonna be coming very soon, so I'm super looking forward to that. But other plants I have to get out are these right here, but I don't know if I'm gonna do that today. This right here, you might be wondering what that is. Those are some lava rocks with green rhizomes on it. It's the rhizome of Microsorhum trident, or the trident Java fern, which I actually have. I showed you in last week's video. I had a huge clump. It wasn't doing well, so I separated them and I moved them into this tank. You can see their leaves kind of look like trident. So that's why they're called the trident Java fern. Yeah, I moved the majority of them into this tank. I hoped to grow a bunch of it here so that it covers up the rocks and the driftwood a little bit. But then these ones are some of the extras that I had, and you can see it was just a waste to throw away these healthy rhizomes, even though they don't have any leaves. So I decided to tie them onto some rocks, and hopefully they're gonna grow from there. Java ferns are slow growing plants, but once they grow, they take off and they grow really, really fast. So I'm not going to be moving that today, but we will eventually. Maybe I'll put it in a corner of this tank so it's not too visible. But then this plant right here, I'm going to take out eventually as well, but not today, because I don't want to mess with its growth. It's been doing so well the last few months. This plant right here is the dwarf aquarium lotus, or dwarf aquarium lily. I'm not too sure. Or yeah, I think it's the 𝗯𝘂𝗀𝗀𝗀 is what I bought it as. So yeah, it's a beautiful plant, and I thought this plant was dead a couple of months back during the winter seasons when it was cold. All I could see was the bulb, and I thought it was dead. There weren't any roots, there weren't any leaves coming out, so I was actually thinking of throwing it away, but I just decided to keep it in the tank just in case. And you can see now, once it got warmer, so many leaves are appearing, and the root is actually, let me show you guys this one as well. I'm not gonna yank it out, but it's actually stuck into the gravel. Yeah, there's roots on this thing, so really happy with this. I'm just gonna leave it alone in there. So while I go ahead and do some minor adjustments to this tank, I'm going to acclimate the fish that we'll be adding in here, the 𝗯𝘂𝘀𝗀𝗀𝘀, the 𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 tetras, or the royal tetras is what I like to call them. So I'm gonna scoop some of these, not too many. I'm just gonna get maybe like 4 males, 2 females or something. I know the ratio is not that good. You usually would want more females to males, but look at them, they're all schooled up along in here. But I don't really necessarily need them to breed in the tank. I just want to display the colorful purplish males in that tank, and if we get some breeding action, that'd be a bonus. So yeah, I'm gonna scoop some of these guys up right now. Oh yeah, there's one already. Oh yes, there's another male. Perfect. Yeah, I gotta get this hose out before I overflow the bucket. Just swam right in the net. That's a female. So it turns out I actually didn't have that many males. I thought I had more, but right here in this bucket I got about 5 males, 3 females, and then in the tank there was a remaining 1 male in there. Maybe there's a few more hiding in the plants, but I saw there was 1 male, and the rest, there's still a bunch more. They're all females, so yeah, we'll just let them live happy in there for now. But yeah, here it is, currently drip acclimating using my little DIY system right here. Just airline tubing connected to a air stone right there. And usually I wouldn't really drip acclimate fish, since I'm just moving it from tank to tank in this fish room. But this tank's pH is a little bit higher. This substrate right here that I'm using has a tendency to raise the pH a little bit, so don't want the fish to go through a pH shock. So yeah, you can see this tank doesn't have any substrate, but this tank is going to get a makeover soon. I'm going to build a stock tank, a tank where I can just keep all my extra plants, all my extra fish. And I've done that in the past before, I think 2 other times, but since the fish room is evolving, since it's changing, I've just had to kind of redo all these projects. So I'm going to be making a stock tank again in the back corner over there, so yeah, watch out for that. Alright, about 30-40 minutes have passed. I say that's enough. Yeah, acclimation doesn't have to be too long. Grab the net once again, and maybe I'll try holding you guys and doing this at the same time. So take a look. The rainbow fish are going to get some new companions, some tetras. Alright. Oh no. Okay, we got it. Oh my gosh, that's about 5 of them, I think. Let's add them in. 1, 2. Come on guys, 3, 4, 5. What? Is that 6? Yeah, look at them. Wow, they look amazing. Maybe I should add more in this tank in the future. Alright, 2 more. Hey, come on. Come on. Yeah, welcome to your new home, guys. You're gonna love this place. Hey, other way, my friend. This guy likes the net more than he likes the new house. Alright, and check that out. They are looking so amazing in here. Wow, this guy's beautiful. You can see male and female. They look very similar, but also the female has that orange color tiny little fin at the back. You can see a good comparison right here if the camera will focus, but I think it's called the adipose fin or something like that. I'm still learning these guys, but yeah, I've been reading on the internet about them. You can see that orange fin. That's another thing I love about this fish. They don't look like that much, like they don't look that amazing, but if you look closely at the details, they're really pretty. And I love that strong black bar down the middle of the body. I've also got the Siamese algae eaters in here that have that black bar that goes straight through the body. They're still tiny, but here's one of them. You can see, really nice. Hey look, they're swimming together. Yeah, so these fish should school together nicely in this tank. I think that'll be just incredible to watch. So guys, in the comments down below, let me know what you guys think of these tetras. Do you like them, or do you think I should have put another fish, a different type of fish in here? I really am happy with this selection. Look at them. Just incredible. They might get a little bit picked on by the rainbow fish in the first few days, but they'll manage to handle themselves. You can see them already. And because I added a group of them, they're gonna feel much safer. They can swim together if they feel threatened. But I've added smaller fish in this tank, like where is it? These guys, the Antlers Life Bearers females. They were tiny when I added them into this tank, and they were being chased around by the rainbow fish. But rainbow fish, they don't do any harm to these fish. So I did tell you guys that I'll tell you guys. Yeah, I did say that I'll tell you how I removed most of the hair algae that used to be in this tank. And to be honest, I don't really want to tell, because it's kind of, some might think it's cruel of me to do such a thing, but also I don't think it's cruel, because what I did mainly, well, first, you guys know that I added the Siamese algae eaters into this tank. 2 of them. They're tiny. They're those little tiny fish that you guys just saw with the black bar. But those Siamese algae eaters, they eat algae, as their name suggests. I'm not too sure if they eat hair algae. I know some people say they eat blackbeard algae. They'll eat like any type of algae, but I think they eat a little bit of hair algae. But what I did when I added them in is I did a water change on the day I added them in, about 50%. I tried to remove as much algae as possible to give me a head start in this race. And then next thing I did, I added the algae eaters. And once I did that, I didn't feed the fish for a whole week. A whole week I didn't feed the fish at all. No food whatsoever. The second week, after adding the Siamese algae eaters, gave them one feeding a week. So out of the 2 weeks since I added the algae eaters, I only fed them once. And I knew they could handle it. And the fish in the wild, they don't eat all the time. Food doesn't come to them every single day, every morning, every night. So it's a tough battle, and these guys can handle that. If you go on vacation, you really don't have to feed your fish that much. So yeah, these guys went 2 weeks with only 1 feeding, and then after that I bumped the feeding up to 3 or 4 feedings a week, and you can see they're all really fine. They do get a little bit hungry, but that's normal. Fish do get hungry. And as long as they're not losing the color, as long as they're not getting too skinny and too bony, no fish lost. Another thing I did, this was before I added the Siamese algae eaters, is I lowered the lighting intensity, because it is summer right now here in Japan. It's getting really, really warm and hot, so the water temperature has risen quite a bit, and I think that's what caused a lot of algae to come. So I lowered one of the lights. That reduces the temperature a little bit, and yeah, I think that's it. I didn't really touch the filters. Can't think of anything else I did. I didn't add any algae killers, algicide, whatever like that. None of that. I don't really like using chemicals in my tanks. Also, a planted tank like this with thick gravel, there's bacteria, there's tiny little microorganisms for the fish to feed on, so if they ever get hungry, they'll find stuff to eat. As always, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to give a thumbs up, comment something down below, and subscribe if you haven't yet. And let me know what you guys think of the new fish in this. Well, they're not really new, but the new additions to this tank. Let me know what you guys think of them in the comments below. And the fish room is slowly evolving next week. Well, this week and next week I'll be working on all these tanks, and this tank will be moving the 𝗲𝘂 resplendens into their new home. And yeah, it's gonna be really, really fun. I'll see you guys next time.